We'll discuss a recent Inspector General report that found that the Department of Defense did not take sufficient action to limit this unnecessary and unacceptable exposure to PFAS.
Michigan Senator Gary Peters spearheading a congressional hearing to examine how service members, their families, and communities across the country have been harmed by PFAS exposure linked to military sites. Thanks for joining us for the news at 5. I'm Meg McLeod.
And I'm David Custer. PFAS are man-made chemicals widely used around the globe since the 40s, and they're called forever chemicals because they don't break down and can be harmful to the environment and a person's health.
TV5's James Felton spoke with a mid-Michigan resident who testified today after seeing the impact PFAS have had on his community.
We carried the message. We carried the message directly to the Department of Defense and directly to members of Congress outside of Michigan.
Oscoda resident Tony Spaniola is in our nation's capital. The co-chair of the Great Lakes PFAS Action Network took part in a Senate hearing hosted by U.S. Senator Gary Peters aimed at examining federal efforts to address PFAS contamination. Spaniola talked to us after the hearing, expressing his disappointment that, in his opinion, members of the Department of Defense didn't say more about efforts to contain PFAS.
The Air Force continues to kind of gloss over pretty major problems that they have within their PFAS program.
As we've reported extensively, in 2010, the former Wurtsmith Air Force Base in Oscoda became the first military installation in the world where PFAS contamination was publicly reported. Today, Spaniola says residents have to live with 5 different health warnings for unsafe drinking water, fish, deer, small game and wildlife, along with unsafe shoreline and surface water foam. During the hearing, Peters brought up the frustration from his constituents.
I've been repeatedly hearing from residents around Wurtsmith Air Force Base in Oscoda and their concerns about the proposed interim remedial actions that have been taken there, as well as the overall pace of that remediation, which is, without question in my mind as well, been very, very slow.
Peters asked Department of Defense spokesperson Richard Kidd what is being done to address PFAS plumes entering Clark's Marsh and Van Etten Lake.
The Air Force has spent over $40 million and has 7 interim response measures either in place or under construction right now.
For his part, Spaniola acknowledges the efforts by the Air Force, telling us that 25 tons of contaminated soil have been removed from a hotspot on the former Air Force Base, and plans are in place to address a plume that is contaminating the main beach on Van Etten Lake. Spaniola calls that steps in the right direction, but more work has to be done.
I think we're going to continue to see progress at the congressional and legislative side, and I think that the pressure and the focus on this issue is going to continue to grow. So I think we're going to start to see some movement.
James Felton, WNEM, TV5.
Senator Peters' newest proposal is aimed at helping protect firefighters and emergency responders from exposure, and it has passed the Senate. He also supported a bill banning the Department of Defense from purchasing firefighting foams containing PFAS for military exercise.